Pull-ups, one of the most functional movements out there. And it's something you have to learn. I don't care if you're a man or a woman, everybody should be able to do at least a couple pull-ups. It's a functional movement. It may save your life or somebody else's, and it keeps you fit, strong, and healthy, and you don't need any equipment other than something to hang yourself off of and pull yourself up to. Done deal. So let's get in this. Let's talk a little bit more about the pull-up and the benefits it has for you, some scaling options, some other good stuff. 3, 2, 1. All right, the pull-up is one of those movements that's been around obviously forever. It's a phenomenal movement because it allows us to learn to move our body weight by pulling ourselves up on something. We've learned how to push ourselves up away from something. Now we also have to learn to pull ourselves up on something. They found out that one of the biggest, issues in people becoming older that causes them the most detrimental health effect later on is their lack of grip strength and their lack of pulling ability, which both of those go together. If I'm hanging from something, my grip strength keeps me hanging from there, and it also allows me to have the ability to pull myself up. So the degradation of grip strength is one of the biggest factors in a rapid decline of health and safety as people got older. So if nothing else, if you can learn to hang from something for a while and develop grip strength to hang there for a little bit, you can do yourself a huge favor. One more step above that, learn to pull yourself up from said hanging position. So the pull-up does just that. Benefits you in a ton of ways. Full range of motion of the pull-up is exactly what you just saw. Fully hanging, nothing touching on the ground, unless I'm doing an assisted pull-up for some reason. So from a fully open shoulder position, all the way up to basically my chin at my hands. Then all the way back down to open, all the way back up. This is not a pull-up. I don't know what the fuck that is, but it's not a pull-up. It's like a upward movement thing. Don't do it, it's dumb. Again, it's a shortened range of motion that doesn't benefit the muscle throughout its full range of activation capabilities. So you're shortchanging yourself. Full range of motion at all times. Now, you can do pull-ups with palms facing away, which is the standard definition of pull-up, or you can do them palms facing you, which most people call a chin-up, whether it's on a straight bar or rings, or you can grab this little fella here, put it over a straight bar, and basically do close grip pull-ups, head going to either side for each rep. That's another option too. A couple things to think about when it comes to scaling, because I know not everybody can obviously do pull-ups. So we have a couple options. The first one is using exercise bands, right? You can buy these Amazon, get these at sporting goods stores. If you have a fixed bar, you take this band, you basically tie it off across the fixed bar, pull it through, your foot goes in the bottom of it or your knee, and this aids you in the pull-up. So let's pretend this is a fixed bar, and I can do this on rings as well. I would tie it off here, I would stick my knee in it, and then I would go through the same full range of motion with the assistance of the band helping me on the way up. All the way up, all the way down. The band provides me that extra little impetus. In order to get into this band, I put my knee in it, then I point my knee at the ground so it stays hooked on. If you do this, the band is going to come off and smack you in the face at 100 miles an hour. You'll cry, I'll laugh, not great. Same thing goes if you're putting your foot in it. Don't make it an acrobatic trick. Simply step in it, push your foot all the way down, cross your other foot over the top, and then same thing, same range of motion. Here to here. That will help you develop that strength and that capacity in a scaled position first. All right, a couple of other options for scaling. The one that's been out there for a long time, and I don't like it because it makes people ridiculously sore, and I just don't like it. I don't think it lends a lot of benefit. There's a cardiovascular benefit, but beyond that, I don't dig it. Our jumping pull-ups, not my go-to by any means. So by that, I would basically get in this position where I can get a little bit of bend in the knees and the hips, and I jump myself up and lower myself down. Jump myself up, lower myself down. Truthfully, people use that as a crutch for way too long. In fact, they use bands as a crutch for way too long. So we want to try to eliminate that. Secondly, the eccentric movement, which is on the way down, that's the movement that causes muscle soreness and the most muscle damage, which causes the regrowth and rebuilding of muscle. So it is a good thing. But because jumping pull-up has so much eccentric motion, it makes people stupidly sore, like stupid sore. So I don't like it. So beyond bands, the other one I like doing are ring rows. And ring rows are nothing more than taking these rings, dropping them down to about this height right here, walking myself out so I'm now at an angle, and I'm pulling myself up to them here. All the way back to extension, all the way back up chest into here. I can make them a little bit easier by walking my feet more to a vertical back under me, so I'm in a more vertical position. That makes the ring row a little bit easier. And the flatter I get to the ground, the harder the ring row goes. I do ring rows every so often instead of pull-ups because sometimes it's easier on tendonitis in the elbows, which flares up every once in a while from too many pull-ups. And it's just something different. And they are still very difficult, and they'll build a lot of back strength. So that's another option for you. The last one you'll do is you start to get your pull-ups in. What I like to do with people is a kind of a strength work piece to help them develop more of their pulling power. And it's kind of like a backwards reverse psychology thing. But what I'll have people do in this one is they will jump up, but they will lower themselves down very slowly instead of through that quick eccentric motion. So I'd have them go up, hold, and then slowly lower all the way down. Reset, up, and down. This helps develop a ton of capacity and strength. Isometric contractions go into effect at the top, and then a slow descent. So it's not a quick eccentric motion, it's a very slow eccentric motion, and it doesn't create the same muscle damage and soreness, which is the stuff that really debilitates people with a regular fast jumping pull-up. This one develops strength, which then later, believe it or not, helps us go from here to here because we worked on it from here to here. So again, that's an option once you can start doing a few pull-ups or with the band, then go to that. So what I would recommend if you're new to pull-ups, you start with ring rows. Start working in sets of those. Put them into your workouts, ring rows. You can do them on a TRX band. You can lower a straight bar, so you can do them to a straight bar. You can use rings, it doesn't matter. Just something you can do ring rows on for a bit. Then you can start working on a banded pull-up. Knee, foot, doesn't matter. Again, nice and smooth, full range of motion all the way up. When you start getting to that, honestly, depending upon the size of the band you have, you can go down to a smaller band to get to the point to where you can do a handful without a band. Cool, do as many as you can without a band, then use the band to finish off your numbers. Or use your band to a certain point and then start working on those negatives on the way down. And with those negatives, I would recommend you only do like a few sets of like 5, maybe 2 or 3 sets of 5 after your workout, a couple times here and there, not a ton, and that will start developing without tearing your body up too much. So again, that's the bare bones basic of the pull-up. I think it's a phenomenal movement you should have in your repertoire somehow. Be careful to overdo them. They will cause a little bit of tendonitis. They will cause some shoulder issues. If you learn to do them on a straight bar, folks will eventually probably get into kipping pull-ups, and there's always the argument that kipping pull-ups are cheating pull-ups. No, they're not. They're actually not at all. I firmly believe you should be able to do strict pull-ups first. Full range of motion, strict pull-ups, your own body weight, at least sets of 10, before you start to learn to do kipping pull-ups. That's my belief. The kipping pull-up has its own issues, especially shoulder stability. As they come up, most folks come off the bar and they go boom into the bottom position of the pull-up, and they drop right into the top of the shoulder joint, basically stretching everything out, damaging the rotator cuff versus pushing off of the bar, staying tight and controlled in the shoulder, and then using the hips to drive us back up. There's a whole mathematical formula that tells you that developing a good kipping pull-up is a huge benefit for developing power, which develops intensity, which develops quicker fitness, but that's not necessarily the point of this video. The point is that at some point in time you may learn them, and it's okay, but protect your shoulder when you're doing them. Full range of motion still counts, and don't do them before you can do strict pull-ups. That's what I would tell you. So I think that's it on pull-ups. If you got more questions, hit me up. Check out my links for more coaching resources, dietary resources, cycling resources, you name it, they're up there. And start working on these. Then we can start putting this stuff together, and we'll talk about that down the road here about maybe putting together small workouts using all the little body weight stuff we've talked about so you don't have to overthink it. It's not as hard as it looks, trust me. Stay cool, stay good, see you on the next one. Peace.